And it just, it kind of just shocked me for a moment because, I really got, sometimes something can come out of Holy Spirit. You don't even know what, where did that come from, like a catalyst or a conformist. And I'm going to give a charge to these young people today because this is exactly what I believe. And the rest of you can listen, but I'm going to be talking to these kids this morning. And first of all, I want to say how much I love you as a pastor. I'm so proud of every one of you. I'm just as proud of you as I was of Dana and Erica. You feel like my children, honestly. There is a part of you that is a part of me, and I'm connected to you by the Spirit. And only the Spirit can bring that joining to you. You can't make yourself be joined to people that you're not really joined or connected to. But I want to say this morning, and not only you, I'm joined to Joshua. I know he's not up here this morning, but he's kind of already gone through college and everything. But I'm speaking to you kids this morning because the Lord is speaking some things today, and I want you to hear me by the Spirit today, the things that I'm speaking at the end this morning. We're going to pray for you. We're going to lay hands on you as a church, and we're going to send you out to where the Lord you feel that the Lord, and I believe that every one of you have prayed about where to go and what to do. And I cannot be proud enough. I just could not say how proud I am of the journey that you've been on and the journey that you're about to enter. And some of you have already been on this journey. I know that Jeremy is going to be in his third year of college. Lori Beth is going to be in her second semester of a freshman year. Tony, that is not here with us today, is going to be a senior at Meredith this year that is going into social work. And I really hate Tony had to miss today. But for the rest of you, Casey and Sarah is going to be entering Campbell University as freshmen this year, and we're just so proud of all of them. And let me say, first of all, that one of the greatest things as college students you could be is thankful for how you got here, realizing that every person that you have come in contact with has been a part of your journey. And sometimes people think, well, I don't think an enemy is part of our journey. Oh, yes, they are. Do you know, I believe that enemies are as much a part of our journey as friends are. I can remember people in our lives as authority figures that I learned as much from them as I did the bad authority figures as I did the good authority figures. Now, I don't know how many of you would agree with me on that, but let me tell you, I learned what not to do and what not to be through those bad authority figures. And they were teachers as well as good authority figures. And I would say today that every authority that has been in your life has been for a purpose. And your enemies have been a part of your journey. Your friends are part of your journey. There are teachers that have been a part of your journey. Even you've been homeschooled, so your mother, your parents have been a part of your journey. You didn't get here on your own, and you wouldn't be here today without your parents. Do you hear me this morning? You wouldn't be here without your parents. They brought you into this world. And even the bad part of parenting, we were learners too on our journey. We didn't do all the right things. Gary and I, we didn't make all the right decisions. We didn't say all the right things. We didn't do all the right things. So even the things that your parents made mistakes on, or you thought they made mistakes on, that was all a part of your journey. And when you take that as being a part of your journey and you're thankful for the part that they have played in your life, the part to get you to where you are today and to where you're going, then when you have thanksgiving in your heart for that part, then that is a good thing, that you get the positive from that. You know, a long time ago I heard, you know, people that were talking about that different ministers that are in your life, they would tell you to eat the fish and throw away the bones. You know, the part, you know, there's parts that, you know, ministers give us, and we can learn from that, and we eat and take and partake of that feeds us, and the part that don't do anything for us, we discard that. But it's all a part of our journey, and being thankful for every part of your journey is that is a way forward to you, and it's a progressive mark for you, and it's a maturing level for you when you don't discard everything that was bad in your journey, but you take it and say, hey, I can take the bad from this, and I can be thankful for it, and I can be appreciative for it, and I can learn from it. And so that would be the first thing that I would say to you this morning. Never lose your thankfulness. Do you know that unthankful is a work of the flesh? Being unthankful, we think of all the biggies. I mean, we named the biggies in works of the flesh. 17 works of the flesh. But one of those works of the flesh is being unthankful. Being unthankful for things in your life, but just take it all as a part of your journey and say, hey, I can learn from that, and I can grow from that, and I can be better by that. Think about that. When those things, you know, the friction in your life can create thanksgiving within your life, and it can be a part of your who you are and of who the Lord is and what the Lord is doing in your life. So some of you would say, what is a catalyst? And I just wanted to get a dictionary because I knew what it was, but I wanted to look in the dictionary, and this is in vocabulary.com. A catalyst is something or someone that causes a change. And it's derived from a Greek word, but it's something or someone that causes a change. And a conformist is a person who conforms to accepted behavior or established practices. It means you run with the crowd instead of running against the crowd. You swim with the stream rather than swimming against the stream. That is what a conformist is. You go along with everybody else and what everybody else says. You don't want to be different, and you don't want to be defined as different. So therefore, you will do like everybody else does. But you know what? When we do like everybody else does, then we get the result that everybody else gets. And that, you know, is not a good thing sometimes. So my charge to you today is to be a catalyst in situations. You know what a catalyst is? Somebody that leads and don't follow. Somebody that stands up and says, I'm going to be different in this situation. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to do like what everybody else does. But I am different. God created me different. God created me with a purpose and a destiny. And I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to say the same things everybody else says. I'm not going to go with the crowd. I'm going to lead the crowd. I feel the Holy Ghost this morning in this charge. So, you can be a catalyst or you can be a conformist. You know, I could be through right there. But these are some of the things that the Lord spoke to me. And it's three things basically, and I don't think it's going to be too long, but then I don't care because the Holy Ghost is in charge and I'm not. These three things, I really would like for you to remember these three things. And some of these things may not have to do. Do you know when the Spirit is inside of you, the Spirit is involved in everything that you do, but every decision you make is not a spiritual decision. we want to bring the Spirit. Well, the Spirit was in this happening to me or that happening to me. The Lord was in that. I did this, or, this happened to me. But, the Spirit is not involved in everything that we do. But here are the three things, that I heard, this week. And I just, some of them I had to even look up. I just kind of wanted to get somebody else's opinion rather than giving my own opinion. But these three things are going to be crucial to you in college. And the first one is time management. And you know what? Even you adults, even we adults, I'm not leaving myself out of this. Even we adults, we can learn from these things. The top 10 life benefits of time management, and I forgot what even I checked this out on, but time management, it can be your enemy or your friend. It can be both of these. But time management, I believe that, honestly, do you realize that people are having more panic attacks than they've ever had before? That people are living in anxiety more than they ever have before. And one of the reasons we are so anxious as a society and we're having panic attacks and a lot of that has to do with how we manage our time. Now listen to this. There are life benefits to time management. And man, kids, you need this. It will cause less stress. Managing your time can directly reduce your stress level. Fewer surprises, fewer tight deadlines, and less rushing from task to task and place to place. You know what? I think I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to comment. I think I'm going to just read this. I'm going to read it again. Managing your time can directly reduce your stress level. Fewer surprises, fewer tight deadlines, and less rushing from task to task and place to place. Get more done. That's the second thing. Of course, being productive is one of the main goals of time management. When you are aware of what you need to do, you're able to better manage your workload. You will be able to get more of the right tasks done in less time. Less rework. Being organized results in less rework and mistakes. Forgotten items, details, and restrictions or instructions lead to extra work. How often do you have to do a task more than once or make an extra trip because you forgot something? Now, some of us women can relate. How many of you? I'm so glad the Piggly Wiggly is only 3 minutes from my house. Glory to God. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've started recipes and run out of something and have to run to the store. So I need this too. Less life friction and problems. How often do you create your own problem? Whether it is a forgotten appointment or a missed deadline, by not managing your time results in increased life friction. More free time. Can you imagine? Time management helps you to have more free time. We can't create more time, but you can take or make better use of it by managing your time. Even simple actions like shifting your commute or getting work done early can produce more leisure time. Doing the things you got to do, and then, because look, listen, in college they're going to come along. Let's watch a movie tonight. Well, I need to study tonight. Then you got to make a choice. Do I study or do I go out with my friends and do I watch a movie? You've got to be a good user of your time. And you've got to be the one that makes the decision, because the parents don't know that somebody's asked you. And see, you're now at a point, you're not in your room and your mom's coming in there and saying, you need to study tonight, Jeremy. No, they don't know what you're doing. That's why you're going to have to manage your time wisely. Okay, less wasted time. That's what time management does, less wasted time. Then you get more opportunities. It even says you can improve your reputation because you're not known as a procrastinator, putting off things. Okay, well, I think I'll procrastinate on this. The deadline is March 21st. Okay, well, as long as I start on it by March 19th, I'll be able to make it. Okay, then you got 5 different things that you're trying to work in at one time, and you've procrastinated on all of them, and then it's like, oh my God, what do I do now? Less effort and put more time where it matters. Man, time management. And let me tell you, I don't have my phone with me this morning. Who's got a phone? Wait just a minute. Let me say right here. Right here is one of the biggest waste of times you can have. Right here is one of the biggest waste of times you can have. Let me tell you, and I don't mean to, I hope you're not, I don't know if you're taping this or not. It's going to go out anyway. I thought about it yesterday, and see there, she's already got a beep. Don't you look at it. It buzzed while I was holding it in my hand. That's funny, Sarah. I thought about it yesterday. We went to a family gathering yesterday, and we had a 16-year-old that rode in the car with us. That 16-year-old got in the car with us, and it's relatives. They got in the car with us. They put their earbuds in their ears when they got in the car, and for 2 hours, they never spoke to any of us. And all they did was listen to music for 2 hours there and 2 hours back. Never spoke. And I'm thinking, Jesus. You know, I love cell phones. Gosh, I can remember when Gary used to call me at work every day at 11:30 when he would take his lunch break, and he'd have to find a payphone to call me from because they didn't have cell phones back then. And then he had the one with the radio antenna that was about that big, that cell phone. But I'm thinking about now, you know, the convenience of a cell phone now is wonderful, but don't let it take all of your time. Don't give good Lord, you could just be so much more productive if you don't do that. Okay, so that's it on time management. Okay, the next thing I want to tell you, community. When we get to college, there are many, many, many students. I mean, it's like a small city. I don't know how many these colleges have. Thousands and thousands of young people every day. And you're passing and repassing with these people. You don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. You don't know what state they're from. They don't know if you're from North Carolina. They don't know anything about, but, you know, in that college, find a community. Find people that you can connect with, people that, you know, in community. I was looking at this in community. Somebody asked a forum on what does community mean to you? When you think about a community, it's kind of like, I don't know if I wrote that down, what a community, because I don't want to overlook. But you know, a community is somebody you connect with, that you're like-minded with, that you may be sharing the same interest with, or things like that. These people, Ashley Schneider said, community to me means a group of people who interact with and support each other. Another person said a group of people who work toward a common goal and support each other along the way. Another one said a community is a people who care about and help each other. In that college, in that environment, you need to find a community. You need to find people that have same interest. And you're not going to find everybody that agrees with you. We don't agree with each other on everything, and that's okay. We can find agreement even in the things that we disagree on. And let me tell you another thing too. Spiritual community is important to you. Finding people that can pray for you, that have got your back, that if you're going through things, you can shoot them a text and say, hey, will you pray with me today? I'm having a tough day today. Things, this is, might be happening or that might be happening. Finding a spiritual community. And I would hope and pray to God you don't forsake the house of God here. But if you can't get to this house, find another house. Benson Assembly of God is right down the road from you. If you can't get here, you don't need to disconnect from church. You need to be in a church community, people that can pray for you and support you through things that you're going through. Does Jesus love you if you don't go to church? Absolutely. But you're going to love yourself more and love others more by finding community, a spiritual community that you can connect with. That don't make you a Christian. That enhances your walk with the Lord. Do you hear what I'm saying? That don't make you who you are. That don't make you a Christian going to church. There's a lot of people that go to church that don't even know God. But find a spiritual community that you can get your support from and leadership from. Let me read you a verse this morning. And this is in Proverbs chapter 4, verses 7 through 9. The screen's still up, Roger. If you get a minute, you can look this at Proverbs 4, verses 7 through 9. Man, this verse really spoke to me this week. It says, and Roger will get it when he can. Go to King James. That's okay. I could read out of this one. It doesn't matter. We got time, don't we? Y'all ain't got to be anywhere, have you? We just ate. Okay, look at this. I want you to look at this, young people. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. This was taken from the book of Proverbs, which is Solomon is known, or as, they say that Solomon is the writer of the book of Proverbs. Well, when we were growing up, they always said Solomon was the wisest man, but I believe Jesus was the wisest man. Solomon might have been a type of Christ, and then again, when I think about some of Solomon's actions, I don't know. But anyway, Solomon, has been deemed to have written this, but it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Man, there's a lot of good sayings in Proverbs. Wisdom is the principal thing. That means first. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Now, let me tell you, wisdom is, if it's the beginning of things, it's the principal thing. And what that means is wise. Hold on. Wisdom is to be wise in mind, word, and act. Wise in your mind, your word, and your act. Being wise. And then it says, with all your getting, get understanding. Man, I don't think we know this. You're going to be in this community. You're going to be in this college community. And there are going to be people that disappoint you, and you're going to disappoint people. Here's what the Lord says. Instead of getting mad, get understanding. That's to all of us adults in here. Instead of getting mad about situations, get understanding about a situation. Because that would solve a lot of problems that we have. I think about how many friendships have been broken because somebody didn't get understanding. I think about how many marriages have ended because somebody didn't get understanding. I think about how many employees didn't work out because somebody didn't get understanding. I think about how many churches have failed because somebody didn't get understanding. You can get mad or you can get understanding. And in teaching the 7 habits of highly effective teams, one of those things was seek first to understand and then to be understood. But what do? We go around trying to bully people, which makes me mad within itself. Because somebody, they want you to understand them, but they don't want to understand you. So instead of getting mad about everybody that does you wrong, and I listened to Pastor Lisa Unger this week. I think it was this week, and she had preached a message on anxiety, I believe it was. And she said that 10 people can give you a compliment, and you'll forget it. But one person can criticize you, and that's all you ever remember. And I thought, that is the truth right there. 10 people can tell you what a great job you did, and one person can come along, one teacher can come along and ruin your entire day by giving you a grade that you don't feel that you deserve. And what you'll do the rest of that year is sulk over that one teacher and say, I don't like Miss Cox. She thinks she knows what she's doing, and she thinks she knows. But you'll let that whole year be ruined by that one teacher that gave you a grade that you didn't feel that you deserved. So get understanding. I think about how many spiritual things, people get mad with people about what they believe, but they never once ask them why they believe what they believe. Ain't that the truth, Glenn? How many family members maybe you've had that, or people that you've known that turned you off because of something they found out you believed, but they never asked you why you believed what you believed? Or they never got understanding. So we can either get understanding and try to understand one another, or we can get mad and angry and ticked off and cut people off. But find the good in that situation. So don't get mad, get understanding. Now, the last one, and you're probably going to be glad that this is the last one. Hold on. I got to find my sheets here. What do I do without sheets? The third one. How many, is this helping you? I hope it helps us. It's helping me. Okay, the third one, choices. Do you know this is a statistic, and I cannot believe this. From the Psychology and Neuroscience Beta, in an ad by Microsoft for their To-Do product, they use a statistic that they say that you're not going to believe this, they say that we make 35,000 decisions a day. You look it up online. They're saying we make 35,000 decisions every day. That's 35,000 choices that we make every day on things. Now listen to this. We have 86,400 seconds per day. That means that we're making a decision almost every 2.5 seconds. I'm thinking, I don't think I make no 35,000 decisions a day. But you know what? That's a decision within itself. Do I make 35,000 decisions a day? 35,000 decisions. They say young children make 3,000 decisions every day. Cornell University, as of February 7th, 2018 estimates that we make 226.7 decisions on food alone. I can believe that now. 226 questions I ask every day. What do I cook for breakfast? What do I cook for lunch? And what do I cook for dinner? I can believe that one. 226 decisions every day on food alone. What do I? See, you're going to have to decide, do I go to Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Hardee's or go get pizza or whatever? So you're going to be making a bunch of decisions every day. I did look at this. I was going to try to see because they had a thing on there, how many decisions does a president make in his term? And they said that depends on the president. And I thought, I can understand that. So every day we're bombarded with choices and decisions that we've got to make. A lot of you, well, what music do I listen to? Do I want to listen to this song? How many of you start songs and within 3 seconds you're already switching it to another one? Yes. So that's all part of decisions that you make every day. So we have all these decisions that we're making, and some of those decisions are spiritual decisions. But some of those decisions aren't spiritual decisions, and most of your decisions are probably not going to be spiritual, but some of them will be spiritual. But I love and they say that the author of this quote is unknown, and I love this quote. We are free to choose, but we are not free from the consequences of our choice. Man, if that could have come from Proverbs, I would have believed that it would have come from Proverbs. We're free to choose, but you're not free from the consequence of your choice. So whatever choice you make in life, and you can look at some of these adults and they would tell you, don't do this. Don't ever get addicted to this. Don't ever go down that road because it's not a good road. It don't have good endings for you. And when people, authority figures in your life, when they're telling you things and maybe you agree or you disagree with them, you need wise in mind and word and act, being wise and listening to that advice and taking that advice seriously. So you're going to be making lots of choices, young people. And another thing I would tell you, you're going to be, when we enter into college life, you enter into a freedom that you have not experienced before. A freedom, that you don't have a mom and a dad breathing down your neck and telling you what to do or how to live or if this person is good for you or that, You're going to have to make that choice somewhat on your own without the advice. And, that's part of your maturity. That is part of your growing up and not having to depend on your mom and dad for every decision that you make. And that is a wise thing. When you can come to a point not to discard your parents, but yet to be wise enough to make your own choices, that you don't need them. And see, that's the whole thing, is college breaks you away from that dependency. And if it don't, you really need help. I'm serious. If you're not learning how to make decisions on your own, and you've got to have your parents for every decision that you make, then you really need to grow up. I'm sorry. Some people ain't gonna like that, but I'm glad that there were things that Dana and Erica didn't get my advice on, and it probably was for the best because they might not have made the best decision if they got my advice on it. But then again, there were other things that if they'd asked me, they might have had a better outcome. But just learn how to make decisions on your own. Learn to grow in those decisions, and you're going to make mistakes. And that's okay. And I believe that the parents would say, hey, it's okay. I made some and you're going to make some. And when you make those mistakes, don't beat yourself up over it. Say, learn from that decision that you made and grow from that and become better by that decision and not worse by that decision. So I would just encourage you. And one of the things that I wrote down here, and I said that our choices reflect who we believe we are. Now, that wasn't a quote I read online. That's what I believe in my heart. Our choices reflect who we believe we are. So when you know who you are, and let me tell you, some of you are going to college for the first time. You're going to hear things that are that are contrary to things you've always heard about God. You better be fully persuaded in your own mind about what you believe. Because some liberal college professor will come along and they will convince you that their way is right. And I can tell you, one of the greatest conflicts Erica had in college was a Muslim professor who tried to convince her that that way and that thought was the way to think. And she had to make up her mind, hey, I don't believe that, and I don't believe, and she was telling me that she was amazed that UNCW even hired this professor because he was so thinking in those terms, and everything. The college hires a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of different things that you hear, and you're going to have to be persuaded in your own mind that what you believe is truth and it comes from God. So in those three things, in time management, in community, and in choices, you can be a catalyst, you can lead the way, or you can be a conformist and go along with the majority rather than going against the norm, or against what you believe in your heart. So I wish you well on your journey, and I just pray. I see such great things for all of you. Great things. Great things. Every one of you are catalysts. You're not conformists. You're catalysts. You are leaders. You're not followers. And you know what? When you start following, it ain't going to feel comfortable to you. It's going to go against everything of who you are because of what God has put inside of you. So those are the things that I want to give. I don't even know how long I took, but those are the things that I wanted to give a charge to you this morning. Being thankful, first of all, for your journey and where the Lord has got you now. Finding community in the midst of that big city, and the choices that you make and using your time wisely, all of those things are things that can really help you along your way. All right, I'm going to ask all of them to come.